Carousels are outperforming Reels for me by 4 to 5 times. And I just scrolled through my Instagram discovery page the other day and I realized that everybody else is talking about the same thing. Carousels are doing better than Reels. And from somebody who has literally grown their page based off of Reels, to see my own carousels outperform my Reels, how many times can I say carousels and Reels? It's kind of strange. And the carousels that I'm posting right now, I think are presented in a style that nobody else has kind of like picked up on yet or anybody else is doing. And I think that's good. But what I want to do in this video is kind of just give away the secrets that I'm using right now. So the carousels that I've been posting are very text heavy, but I think the magic comes down to the first slide. So my first slide philosophy is I'm going to not use a photo. I'm going to use a video because I, as somebody who has made, probably over 3,000 reels to this point, I still want to keep myself in the habit of going out and filming things. And maybe that's the case for you, or maybe it's not. In any case, I want you to kind of test yourself and use a video as the first slide. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second, but just looking at my Instagram profile right here, I've got a few different things going on, and this is going to be different for you if you're not into like the vibrant colors and the doodly drawings and the bubbly fonts. When I see my profile right now, it just feels like me, so I'm happy with it. But for you, you can still take these principles that I'm about to show you and apply them to your own. Starting with the first slide is a video. Now, if you're not technically, I guess, literate when it comes to photography, I'm not. The easiest thing to do for yourself when you're going out and you're shooting new, footage and you're trying to get these like aesthetically, cinematically, if that's even a word, B-roll shots for your carousels, I want you to look for symmetry because symmetry is the easiest thing you can possibly find in nature. And as you shoot more and more B-roll, you're going to start seeing things that other people just don't see. And for me, that comes down to vibrant colors, frames, and I kind of think of like what I see as like individual photos. And you'll notice that for the most part, I'm using symmetry. So this is symmetry. This is symmetrical. I guess symmetrical is the word to use. This is symmetrical. This is also symmetrical. This is symmetrical. So I'm thinking about these shots of, if I could cut this picture, so to speak, down the middle, and if I sandwiched both sides together, would they be identical? And for the human eye, not that I have any evidence to back this up, but for me, anecdotally, symmetrical stuff looks pretty good. I like looking at it. And I think there is how people, maybe in the corporate world, they got to the point they're at just because they look good. I think that actually applies to Instagram as well. There is for sure a pretty privileged aspect to Instagram where if you can get somebody to care about what your content actually looks like, it's actually much easier to get them to care about what you're about to say. Because if you can't get them to stop scrolling visually, Instagram is pretty much a visual first platform, at least in my experience and my algorithm feed. And if you're watching this and you follow me on Instagram, your algorithm feed is probably similar to mine, minus the brain rot. But the vibrant colors and the symmetry do really well. The second thing that I'm looking at when I'm thinking about these frames is how can I utilize negative space to then put words and that slideshow title on that particular shot. So you'll notice whenever I'm framing a shot, again, I'm not technically trained in anything film. I think I just have done this so many times that I know it looks good, and you might think my shit doesn't look good, but that's okay. It's preference, it's art. But for me, every time I frame a shot, I'm like, okay, how can I use this negative space around me? Because I know for a fact I'm not shooting this to, share it in the family group chat. I'm posting this on Instagram, so I need a place to put words. And you'll notice that when I'm framing shots like this, my head is pretty much, if you think about this in thirds here, you have my head usually at the bottom third, and the text is, call it 66% of that first slide. And I do that for pretty much everything, some more than others. I think, this is pretty much half and half where, I kind of like, this isn't also a video, but I cut myself out and put the words behind me, which also kind of helps people stop scrolling, I guess. But that's what I'm utilizing there. So symmetry is one, negative space for the others, and this is totally up to you for 3. I've got 2 more for you. 3 is vibrant colors. You might not be a person who likes vibrant colors. I think a good example of that is, Tom Noski's videos. Tom it's just black and orange for the most part. So you know, he probably is not going to go out and shoot videos like this, but I just love this shot. I love the way that the text floats above me. So vibrant colors do really well. If you're just going for that dreamy look, if you're going for something more cinematic, you know, that's when you have your light placed off about 45 degrees to your right. Half of your face is lit up. The other half has that like triangle. That's when you're speaking to the camera. But there's so many different things you can do. For me personally, vibrant colors work really well, and that's just the vibe I like to give off. So if you like vibrant colors, I suggest going out and just finding new frames to take pictures of. Buy yourself a camera, take pictures with your phone, and just find inspiration from other people on social media and just see like, you know, how their footage and how their photos make you feel a certain way before you even read anything. I think vibrant colors portray this emotion before you start reading anything, and I think it's a good emotion. I use them, and that's kind of how I feel. Last thing I want to tell you is your typeface. Typeface is just a graphic designer's technical correct way to say font. So F-O-N-T. Now, I'm not going to tell you which fonts to use. That's totally, you know, up to you. There are so many different fonts to use out there. For me, I like this big bubble letter font. So the one that I'm using right now, I believe, is called Super Fun Time. Yeah, it's called Super Fun Time. And then this font right here, that's actually my handwriting. So I went to this website called Calligrapher. And what you can do is actually create templates, and it will allow you to print out the template or download that template in a PNG file or PDF file. And you can trace over the letters in each box, screenshot that, or save it as a file to, I did it on my iPad, but you can literally do it on a piece of paper and scan it back up to your computer and upload that to Calligrapher, and it will actually take your handwriting and turn it into a font that you can use. I use Premiere for my video editing, but I use it for Canva, I use it for Photoshop, I use it in Premiere, obviously, and nobody else in the world has that font. Now, you could sit here and you can screenshot every individual letter, do the same thing, upload it to Calligrapher, and honestly, you know, I have no problem with that. Just, you know, for me, you kind of sound like the unemployment final boss at that point, so, like, you know, who's just, you know, have a sense of, you know, common sense, and just like have some self-awareness that what you are doing is a complete waste of time. Create your own handwriting font. If your handwriting sucks, find one on the internet, not mine, because I'm never going to sell it to you. And that will give you the nice, like, vibrant look. So everything that you're seeing here in this shot, like, it all kind of feels the same way. If I use like a sans serif font here, or sans font, I don't really know, like whatever the more fancy one is. Again, I'm not like technically trained, but it would just feel different. Like it wouldn't feel the same. The bubble letters, the hand-drawn graphics, I actually drew these like bubbles on my iPad too. You can tell how good of an artist I am. That is literally like the worst cloud I've ever seen. But those are also drawn in Procreate, and I upload them to Dropbox, and I have all of these different like icons saved on my computer for me to use in my posts, which is, I think is pretty cool. So those four things: you've got symmetry, vibrant colors, you've got the negative space for the words, and then you also have the font selection. All of those things combine to make people feel a certain way. But what about what we write? That's the hard part too. Now, I'll give you a quick overview about you know, how I kind of structure my slides. If we choose, you know, we'll use this one for example. So you'll notice like how all of what I just explained to you translates to the next slides in the carousel. So the first slide, just in terms of the bubble letters, I think of the bubble letters and the heaviest fonts, quote unquote, that you use. Those should emphasize the keywords, or they should emphasize the topic of the carousel, because if somebody sees that post on their discovery page, they're going to immediately know what that video is about, or the carousel is about, just by seeing those like quote unquote highlighted letters and words. I keep saying quote unquote. Why do I keep doing that? So that's what I'm doing for each individual slide after that. And you'll notice how the photography translates to the next slides as well. So I actually have, I don't expect you to go out and buy this. I recently bought this because it has been my dream photography camera for a while, besides a Leica Q3, but that thing's $7,000. This is much less expensive, but it is hard to find, and it is still kind of relatively expensive. This is a Fujifilm X100V. They have the 6 out, the 5 is discontinued. I found this on Facebook Marketplace, brand new for retail, so I got lucky. And it's real, and it might be stolen, who knows, but that's not my problem. So, So I've been taking photos like that, and when I take photos, a lot of it is for like my own enjoyment. I just love photography. I used to actually like I got into marketing because of photography. I digress. I won't go into that story right now. But the same way that I'm, placing my camera and kind of positioning these shots for my opening slides using the video, I'm also doing that for the carousel slides as well. So the carousel slides are just photos. I'm not doing any more video after the first slide. So you'll notice here, you see how my head here is at the bottom third and the text is above it? Same thing with this picture of, this is the beach kind of like near where I live, and I'm using the same thing. So big bubble letters for the title slide. If you think about this as a blog post, this is like the section header, and then everything else beneath that is what would, just the text of the blog post related to the header of that blog section. So I'm doing that for every single slide. This is hand-drawn too, hand-drawn font. Oh, that's my handwriting. Hand-drawn, and then this is the only thing that is like non-original. That's a font that I found on DaFont, totally free. Same thing here. I take the picture, everything is made by me. And I have my thoughts about like the current state of Instagram and how everything is pretty much the same based off of what everybody posts. If you're looking for something unique, if you have decent handwriting, just kind of use this vibe. Like it works really, really well. And I see a lot of people using it. I'm not saying it's because of me, but it kind of warms my heart that like maybe what I'm making is inspiring other people to go out and just make shit just different from everything else. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So I digress. The bubble letters here are just the titles of each slide. I like to keep this text heavy. I've heard from brands that I actually work with saying, for carousels, there shouldn't be more than like one sentence on each slide. I think that's more of an exception than a rule. I can yap. I can yap for a long time. And it's very hard for me to condense my writing down into less than 2 sentences per slide. So I keep my slides, my carousels, like 7 to 10 slides, and they're very text heavy, negative space with text. And that's all done in Canva. So that's my process. So the programs that I'm using for the carousels themselves. So I'm using a combination of Premiere for the video, After Effects for any rotoscoping I do, and I might make a separate video about like how I create the video as the first slide because I don't want this video to be too long. And then in Canva, I'm just literally making the other slides in Canva. That's it. So I have my own handwriting font uploaded to Canva. You'll notice here, like I type everything out. These are hand drawn that I also uploaded to Canva. So in terms of rotoscoping, if you aren't familiar with what that is, 2 examples here. So you'll notice how the text is behind me. So basically what rotoscoping is, so let's just say you don't see any graphics, you don't see any text at all. It's just that video of me. So I have the base video, but I also have a layer on top of it where, let's just say this is me in the frame. After Effects and rotoscoping allows me to cut myself out of that frame. So now I have just me, basically in like green screen format, plus the original video. And now they are 2 separate layers. So now what I can do is actually introduce a layer in between them, which is, I don't know why I'm using a pocket knife, but I am. So let's just say this is the text layer, this is the base layer, and now I've got myself above the text like that. So that is what rotoscoping allows you to do. And that's all done in After Effects. Everything else in the carousel is done through Canva. So if you're looking to do more carousels, I highly suggest you testing out this format. Do not copy any of my carousels word for word because people will send them to me and I will call you out in the comment section. I've done it many times before. I mean, I've literally had people go to the exact locations that I'm filming and record themselves in the exact same poses. It's bizarre. Like, it's really weird. I don't feel threatened. It's just weird. Like, that's a weird thing to do. And I've also had people copy stuff word for word. So those 2 things I wouldn't do. What I would do is take inspiration from what I do and maybe even take inspiration from 5 other people and just take one little piece from those 5 people and combine it into one because that is how you find your own style. So carousels work. Reels kind of work. I'm still making reels. I actually just hired a video editor. Thank the Lord. Drop a follow on Instagram. Send me any questions you have in the comments or a DM on Instagram. I'm happy to help you out, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.